What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weekly GCap, the only source you'll ever need to catch up on all the gaming news from the last week. As always, we got quite a couple stories to go through, so let's go ahead and get right into this. First things first, Felix the Cat and Rocket Knight are getting re-released. This coming from Konami on X. Quote, Felix the Cat and Rocket Knight games are getting re-releases. Digital collections for both of these beloved franchises are coming soon via limited run games and Carbon Engine. And then when we go down a little bit, they say, get ready for some nostalgic magic. The Felix the Cat bundle features both the 1992 NES and 1993 Game Boy titles and is coming to PS4, PS5, and Switch. Enjoy both of these 8-bit adventures with added features including save states and other quality of life fixes. Then we go down a little bit more to the next post where they say the Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked collection will launch on PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. It includes Rocket Knight Adventures, Sparkster RKA2, and Sparkster. Fans will be able to enjoy a new added animation intro, rewind features, a boss rush mode, and much more. It is worth noting that at this time there is no official release date, but as soon as we know more, I will definitely let you guys know, and this is one that I'm super excited for and I would highly recommend keeping your eyes on. Next up, the Granblue Fantasy Relink demo is available now. It's available on PS4 and PS5, and then, they put up a post just kind of talking about some of the stuff, so we'll go over that real quick. It says, Granblue Fantasy Relink demo content, quote, the following 3 modes are playable in the demo version of Granblue Fantasy Relink. 1. Story mode. Play through a portion of Relink's main story, clear story mode to redeem rewards in the full game. 2. Quest mode. Play through a few of Relink's quests either solo or with others, clear the available quests to redeem rewards in the full game. 3. Tutorial mode. Learn how to control characters and other game basics. End quote. So if that interests you, I would highly recommend checking it out, or, if you're just on the fence about whether you want to get the game when it comes out, again, the demo is obviously free, so this is a great way to do so. I am so excited for this game, it is not even funny. I have already played the demo, and yeah, I am so on board. I was already on board before the demo. If you guys watch the show, then you already know that, but now I'm just, even more on board. Next up, TopSpin 2K25 was announced. There's not too much to say here. This is the first game in the series in over a decade. I remember playing a ton of TopSpin 4 back in the day on, like the PS3, for example. That was back in, 2011 at this point, so yeah, it's been a while. I don't play a whole lot of tennis games or, just sports games in general, but TopSpin was always one that I thoroughly enjoyed, and, yeah, TopSpin 2K25, sure, it's going to be great. There's no official release date at this point. Just keep in mind, it is a modern sports game, so the monetization side of things might be a little rough, but we'll see how it goes. Next up, Foamstars, which is Square Enix's new game, is going to be coming to PS Plus day 1, and it's going to be part of February's Essentials lineup. So, this is coming from PlayStation Blog. Quote, hey everyone, Foamstars producer Kosuke Okotani here. We've kept all of you waiting since the announcement of Foamstars May of last year, but we're happy to announce that Foamstars will release on February 6, 2024. Foamstars will be included as a game in the PlayStation Plus monthly games lineup for February, and we're ecstatic to be able to offer a chance to play. End quote. So, again, even if you weren't necessarily excited or interested in this game before, if you have PS Plus, it's gonna be a part of the subscription. You might as well claim it. It's a free game, and hey, who knows, you might be able to try it out, and who knows, you may end up falling in love with it. Me personally, this is one that I've kind of I guess subtly or kind of just, from the side had my eye on. Yeah, I'll try that at some point. And since it's coming to PS Plus, yeah, I'll definitely be trying this day 1. Next up, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown is coming to Nintendo Switch. So if we look down at the description of the trailer, it says, quote, engines prime, the runway is clear, it's time to fly once again. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown soars on the Nintendo Switch on July 11th, 2024, end quote. So it's about 6 months out, but super excited for this one. I've always been a huge fan of the Ace Combat series, and having it on Nintendo Switch, are you kidding me? Being able to lay in bed and shoot down some planes right before bed, that is awesome. Next up, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown released, and the reviews went live. Right now it's sitting at an 86 for the PS5 version, and that's basically the same across the board, sitting at the high 80s. It released yesterday at the time of you guys seeing this, which is today for me at the time of me recording this, and let me just say, I did get a chance to dive in and play it, and oh my goodness, it's absolutely amazing so far. Basically, I was playing it all day up until I went to record this video, and now after I finished recording and editing this, I'm gonna be going back to just playing it. Seriously, it is so good. If you guys are into Metroidvanias, think Metroid Dread or any of the Castlevania games or just anything like that, Hollow Knight, whatever. If you're into the Metroidvania style of game, I can highly recommend this one. It is so good, and even if you're not, this would be a great way to dive in. It's not overly challenging, but it's not super easy holding your hand either. It's just it's that right balance. It's just overall, it's a good Metroidvania. Obviously, I'm not at the end game stuff yet, so who knows, it could really ramp up by the end, but right now it's literally literally that perfect balance of just a fun, challenging, but not too easy or hard experience. It's just, you know, that perfect difficulty curve. Next up, the reviews went live for The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which is another one that's going to be coming out actually the day of this video going up. So right now it's sitting at a 90 on Metacritic, which is, you know, very good. And yeah, you know, The Last of Us Part 2, again, does it really need a remaster? In my opinion, no. But it's cool that it's going to be, I guess, what, bumped up to like 4K, higher frame rates. You got the new modes and stuff like that in the game, obviously, with the roguelike stuff. So, you know, this is one that I'll be picking up just because I'm a physical collector. I like having the stuff in my collection. I'll be getting a physical copy, putting it up on the shelf and all that. But, yeah, this is one that we didn't necessarily need, but hey, it's The Last of Us. The Last of Us is one of my top 5 favorite games of all time, both the first and second game. So, you know, I can't complain. More Last of Us, it's always a good thing. Next up, Dawnwalker has been confirmed to be in development. So this coming from Rebel Wolves on X. Quote, usually we don't comment on rumors. However, since we've heard something through the grapevine, yes, we are working on Dawnwalker, end quote. So that's all we know about it. Literally, we just had some key art and them kind of confirming it, but we don't know anything about release dates, trailers, what the game's going to be. This game is being developed by ex-CDPR devs, you know, like the guys that worked on like The Witcher 3, for example. So, yeah, you know, again, I don't really know what to expect from this one, but if you know, their track record is anything to go off of, this could be a revolutionary game. I'm not saying it will be, but it could be. Next up, an Until Dawn movie is in the works. This coming from Hollywood Reporter. Quote, filmmaker David F. Sandberg, who has spent the past several years in the land of superheroes, is returning to his horror roots. The Shazam Helmer has signed a deal to direct Until Dawn, an adaptation of the PlayStation horror video game being made by Screen Gems and PlayStation Productions, end quote. So, I mean, obviously, Until Dawn in itself, it was basically just like a playable movie, right? I mean, if it wasn't for the few prompts throughout the game, it's basically just like a however long, like 5-6 hour movie, something like that. So, them turning this into a movie, that's literally perfect, but at the same time, I have to wonder, with the game being closer to like 6 hours, how are they going to adapt that? Are they going to just brush past certain plot points? Are they going to rush through certain parts? Are they going to cut certain parts out entirely? Is there going to be new plot points added? How is that going to work? Because obviously there was a lot of choices made, so is it going to be one of those things where it follows like the everybody dies ending in the movie? Is it going to be the everyone survives ending? Is it going to be a blend of the two? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm keeping my eye on this one. I'm definitely interested to see how this turns out. Next up, GameStop has shut down their NFT business, and let me just say, thank God, dude. NFTs and video games, no, just keep those things separate. Anyway, this coming from Decrypt. Quote, GameStop is getting out of the NFT business. About a year and a half after launching its NFT marketplace, publicly traded video game retailer GameStop is saying goodbye to its platform, which supports gaming NFTs and other collectibles across Immutable X and Loopring, both Ethereum scaling networks. Quote, GameStop has decided to wind down our NFT marketplace due to the continuing regulatory uncertainty of the crypto space, and quote, a message on the marketplace website reads, adding that the platform will no longer be operating as of February 2nd this year, end quote. So, amazing. Again, like video games and NFTs, those two things, they don't need to combine. They shouldn't combine. Just keep those things separate. I never thought I'd say this, but GameStop, round of applause. I'm proud of you. Next up, on the completely other opposite end of the spectrum, this is a game retailer that I'm not so proud of. In fact, I would say I'm quite angry at them, but I don't live in the region, so I'm not too angry, just angry from a morality perspective. But anyway, Game is ending physical video game trade-ins, and you may be like, Game? Who's Game? It's like a video game retailer over in Europe, I want to say. Anyway, this coming from Eurogamer, quote, as part of the integration of Game, we will be phasing out trade-in, pre-owned, and Game Elite offerings in the UK over the coming months, end quote. A spokesperson for the chain's owner, Fraser's Group, told BBC News, quote, pre-owned will still be available in our standalone stores across the UK while stock lasts, and Game Elite will still be available until the end of summer, end quote. So, once again, we just talked about this a couple weeks ago, how Best Buy has started to kind of wind down on their physical media, not on the gaming side of things, but on the movies and music side of things, and I'm sure the gaming thing will be next. And here we are, a retailer cutting out video game trade-ins and just like physical pre-owned video games in general. You guys know me, I'm all physical all day, every day, and I honestly, if it gets to a point where we're seeing consoles that literally have no ways or options to play discs or games just coming out where you can't buy them physically, I don't know what I'm going to do at that point. I mean, the only way where I would be okay with it and I would convert to digital is where something changes to where almost like an NFT, not actually an NFT, but in a way where you like actually own it no matter what until you decide to sell it or get rid of it. With the way it is now, where when you purchase a digital game, you only purchase a license and you're not actually purchasing, you know, the product itself. Yeah, no, I'll never be for that. And if it gets to a point of where they don't change those policies, I don't care. I'll stick to my Xbox 360, my PS2. Dude, I have games on my shelf from the Atari that I've had for decades, okay? If these publishers think taking away physical media from us will make us all just convert over to digital media, I'm sorry, but they're sadly mistaken. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, if it comes to that, you know, this generation, the PS5 Series X generation, we still have physical media. We still have consoles with disc drives, and they're backwards compatible. So if worse comes to worse, until my final days on this earth, I'll just deal with this generation and all the generations that came before it. Because, like I just said, I still have games on my shelf for my Atari, and it's not like disc rot, especially for these modern games, is even going to be a thing that I have to worry about within my lifetime. So screw it, if it comes to it. I mean, I wouldn't like it. It would suck because I'd be missing out on some new games, but at the same time, I mean, you know what they say in the video games industry, vote with your wallet, and that's exactly what I will do. The only other way that I would ever consider going all digital or, you know, conforming to the all digital future is if these publishers actually make an effort to preserve their games. So even if a game, say, has to get delisted for any reason, if there would actually be, like, laws put in place, or maybe even not even laws, but just, you know, just something to where, like, it's the norm to where if you have to delist the game or if something is going away, that it gets backed up eternally onto, like, an internet archive like we see with a lot of, you know, previous generation games at this point. But until then, yeah, I don't know. Just, I mean, I don't know. It's at that point where it's like, you know, I'm sticking to physical media, and if they take that away from me, well, then they get no more money from me. It's that simple. Except for those rare occasions where, you know, you see those games that go on sale for like $3 or $5. At that point, it's a little bit different. But when it comes to full price releases, no way. Next up, there's new games available on Nintendo Switch Online. This coming from Nintendo of America on X. Quote, 2 epic adventures Dawn, Golden Sun, and Golden Sun The Lost Age are coming to Nintendo Switch for Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack members on January 17th, which is a couple of days ago at the time of this video going up. So yeah, if you haven't played these games before, I highly recommend them. Golden Sun, just some of my favorite RPGs on the GBA of all time, and furthermore, just some of my favorite RPGs of all time. Absolutely amazing game. Please, if you have NSO plus expansion pack, give these games a shot. And finally, this goes literally right back to what we were just talking about a few moments ago, but Ubisoft says we should get comfortable with not owning our games. This coming from GamesIndustry.biz. Quote, one of the things we saw is that gamers are used to, a little bit like DVD, having and owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CD collection or DVD collection. That's a transformation that's been a bit slower to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game at another time, your progress file is still there. That's not been deleted. You don't lose what you built in the game or your engagement with the game, so it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game, end quote. So there are so many things wrong with this quote. First off, there is a very obvious fundamental lack of understanding as to why so many gamers push for physical media. The concept of losing your progress, that's not something that we're worried about. Cloud saves have been a part of video games for the past 3 generations now. We had it in the 360 PS3 generation, a way to back up your saves on the cloud. Even if you lost your game, you could, you know, and even then, like, you know, it's not even a thing of the saves being tied to the games themselves, because they don't even save to the games. The worry is when all these games are getting delisted or taken away from us or taken out of our libraries. It's just, obviously we haven't really seen anything to that extent yet, besides like live service games, but it's getting to that point where we see multiple times where these companies will try to take games out of our libraries, but then there's so much pushback and so much hate that they have to reverse course and let us at least keep the game. Mind you, the games that we literally paid for with our money. So these publishers really just don't seem to understand that. It's never been about losing our game progress or this, that, or the other. It's about preserving the games, being able to play the games, own the games, not have them just be taken away from us. And it's just, oh gosh, dude, I'm literally giving myself a headache right now. Why is the industry pushing for this all-digital future? I get it, the publishers want ultimate control, they want money, they want to be able to wipe their butts with more Benjamins, but it's like, dog, like, when is enough enough? I've talked about all this enough in this episode as is, and I've talked about it time and time again across the 50-plus episodes that we've been doing this show, but I'll just say this. I truly do believe that consumers should have a right to physical media and a right to own their media. And if not physical media, then at least the right to own the digital products that they're paying for. Again, I'm not necessarily an advocate for NFTs, but the one thing that NFTs does do right is the fact that you own that until you sell that. So if we could find a way to implement that into games somehow, in a way to where, you know, it's not just a thing of, oh, you're buying a license to this game, but you're actually buying a tangible game that you own in the digital space, then maybe my attitude will change. But until then, nah, dude, this is just it's publishers, man. It's garbage. Out of any industry, I would say in the gaming industry specifically, this is an industry where the consumer almost always knows best. And as a consumer, I'll say this. In its current state, until something changes with digital media and the way that digital media is purchased, consumed, and the way the licenses are handed out and stuff like that, physical media will always be better than digital, objectively, until something changes. And if nothing ever changes, then physical media will always be better. I mean, in my mind, physical media will always be better regardless, but, you know, I just like physically actually owning my things. Call me old school, but whatever, that's just how I am. I've been babbling for long enough, let's wrap up the show. But anyway, that's all the stories that I have for you guys this week, so now I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on everything that we talked about, whether it's game ending physical game trade-ins? Do you live in the UK? Will that affect you? And what are your thoughts on the whole Ubisoft situation, or them saying that gamers need to get comfortable with not owning their games? It's just... I'm just gonna stop myself before I go on another tangent, but whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. But anyway, this is Weekly GCap. New episodes go live every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so if you want to catch them as soon as they go live, well then, I know when to be here. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.